If you're just starting GMAT prep, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. How do I start? Where do I start? What all do I do? You'll get your answers in this video. Hi, my name is Shweta Kushija. I've been preparing students for international tests such as the GMAT, GRE, SAT for over 11 years now. Through this channel, my goal is to share my experience from having worked with thousands of students so that you don't make the same mistakes, so that you do it right. In this video, we'll cover what the GMAT is and why business schools use it, how this exam is structured, what each section actually tests, and finally, how beginners should plan and start their prep. But before what you should do, understand what you should not do. Do not begin by just collecting resources, formula sheets, random question banks, books, PDFs. That is one of the most common beginner mistakes. It'll just overwhelm you. Understand that the GMAT rewards planning, organized prep based on need, not just scattered preparation from anywhere and everywhere. It rewards good reasoning. Can you read carefully? Can you comprehend well enough even when the clock is running? Or does nervousness make you misread and misinterpret things? Can you choose the right approach? Correct yet efficient. After all, it's a time test. Or do you get caught in unnecessary calculations? Do you fail to make good decisions under time pressure? All of this is what gets rewarded. But first, let's just slow down and understand what this test even is. Well, GMAT stands for Graduate Management Admission Test. It's conducted by the GMAC, which is Graduate Management Admission Council. Their official GMAT platform is MBA.com. This test is used for admissions to graduate business and management programs, including MBA programs and other business master's programs. Now, business schools use the GMAT because they need a common way to assess applicants from different pools, different academic backgrounds, different professional backgrounds. How do they get that common measure? The GMAT gives these schools one standardized way to compare how applicants handle reasoning based tasks under timed conditions. Now, this was all why one takes the GMAT, right? Now, whether you have decided to take it or you're still thinking about it, you have to know how it is structured. So, that's what we're going to talk about. Now, first of all, this is all for the current version of the GMAT. This was released with a new name, GMAT Focus, but now it's just GMAT. Well, the full exam is 2 hours, 15 minutes long with a total of 64 questions belonging to one of three sections. These are adaptive sections. I'll tell you about them one by one. Quantitative reasoning, it has 21 questions to be done in 45 minutes. Verbal reasoning, 23 questions in 45 minutes. And data insights with 20 questions in 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes for each of these, but the number of questions is varying. There is also one optional 10-minute break that you can take after the first or the second section. You can also choose the order in which you take the three sections. This matters because some students prefer to begin with their strongest section. Some prefer to finish the toughest section first when they're completely, in that initial energy zone. You should choose the order that helps you perform best. There is no rule on what you should be doing. A useful way to think about GMAT is that quant really is asking, can you solve logically? Verbal is asking, can you reason through language? And DI is like, can you decide? Can you infer things? Can you understand, first of all, data? Now, each of these sections is adaptive by question. Every single question will be decided based on how you've performed till that point in the test. It gets difficult if you're doing really well. For example, you're getting everything correct. So the exam then challenges you with a slightly higher level question. So it keeps raising that level or lowering it if you keep getting questions wrong until it finds the perfect balance. It finds your ability level. And after all of that analysis, it comes up with a score. The total score ranges from 205 to 805. All three sections, you get a different score for each of them on a scale of 60 to 90. They equally contribute to your total score. They come with their own percentile scores also. So instead of seeing GMAT prep as one giant task, you can think of it as three separate areas that you build one by one. It'll not feel so overwhelming in that way. Now we'll discuss each section in some detail. Let's discuss quant first. Most students immediately connect quant with math. But remember the full name, it is quantitative reasoning. So, yes, you need arithmetic, algebra, number properties, all of those concepts. But knowing concepts is not enough. You need to be able to apply those concepts. You need that bridge between concepts and application. Without that bridge, it's like learning the alphabet and then immediately trying to spell the word elephant. You won't be able to do that. For GMAT Quant, this bridge I'm talking about is skills. You need to learn how to apply concepts, how to identify question types, choose efficient methods, translate whatever is written first of all, how to avoid over solving. These core skills, when you build, they make you capable of solving any question on the concepts that you have studied. That is the foundation you need for quant. Not just knowing math, but knowing how to use it. So every time you see a question, just pause. Ask yourself three questions. What is given exactly? What is asked? And what is the most efficient way to go from what is given to what is asked? A problem may look like it needs several equations, but the answer may come quickly if you notice a certain ratio, suppose. Another problem may look like it's direct calculation, but the real challenge may be translation. Did you even understand what it was asking? We'll go deeper into quant strategy in a separate video. As soon as it's ready, I'll link it up for you. Next, let's talk about verbal reasoning. On this section, meaning is king. This section tests whether you can read a passage or argument and understand what is actually being said, not what sounds familiar or feels true or what you personally agree with. It's about what the text actually supports. This distinction matters a lot. Many wrong answers are attractive because they sound reasonable, they feel correct. But the real question is, does the answer follow from the given information? Are you sure it's that? So, when you prepare for verbal, train yourself to read with discipline. It includes reading comprehension and critical reasoning question types. Both of these can be aced with the right reasoning skills. What is the author's main point? What is the passage directly telling us? What does it support? What is it not really supporting? Maybe we are just assuming something. What is the author assuming for the argument to make sense? An assumption which will just break the conclusion, not what you feel has been assumed. What would make the argument stronger, weaker, not more pleasing to you? So it's about that particular passage, the author, the premise, the conclusion. What is really being said? Finally, the third section, data insights. This is the most dreaded of the lot, possibly because it tests several skills at once. You can say it brings together the skills you build in quant and verbal. From that perspective, it is best to start preparing for DI after you've prepared for quant and verbal both. Now, in DI, you see tables, charts, graphs, long convoluted text, sometimes even multiple sources of information all at once. The challenge is not reading data. We read it just fine, but do we really understand? Are we able to identify the most important information and separate it from the fluff? Do we own the given information so well that we can explain it with our eyes closed and without another read? Here, the comprehension skills that you build in verbal come in. Even here, you must figure out what conclusions that data actually supports. And then there's quant in the very concepts underlying in your DI questions, percentages, averages, ratios, etc. To summarize, DI tests whether you can combine everything at once, understand information using your verbal reasoning skills, process it using your quant reasoning skills, and finally answer exactly what is asked. Business school and real business decisions often require exactly this: reading information, filtering noise, interpreting data, and making a decision. The five question types in DI are these, with the biggest chunk going to data sufficiency. Data sufficiency was once part of quant itself. After the shift, all pure math questions on DS, data sufficiency, are out. So do not just practice from old material. We will cover DI strategy separately because it deserves its own video. I'll link it up the moment it's ready. Now that you understand what each section demands, let's talk about where you should actually start. You now know that jumping straight into random practice questions is not the answer. It may feel productive at first, but it quickly becomes scattered. Your first step is to understand where you are today. Imagine putting only the destination on Google Maps but not entering your current location. That is exactly what we do when we tell someone our target score and we say, "Oh, how should I prepare?" How will we get proper navigation this way? The official GMAT starter kit on MBA.com includes official practice exams 1, 2, real GMAT questions, and guided review. Use one of these official exams to set your baseline. Take the exam under test like conditions, otherwise, you might inflate your score, and then review the result carefully. Do not only look at the score, right? Ask better questions like, which is my weakest section? Which question types are taking me too long? Where am I making concept or careless errors or maybe repeated errors? This gives you a real starting point. Based on this analysis, decide which section needs the most attention, which concepts need building, rebuilding, where do you need practice? Some of you might like to start with your best section to get the low hanging fruit, or others may like to start with the worst section if they want to eat the frog first. Oh, and remember, once you start practicing, the practice alone is not enough. If you keep solving questions without reviewing them, you may simply repeat the same mistakes faster. Review is where improvement actually begins. And this is so important that I will dedicate a video on this. Find it linked right above as soon as it's ready. So, what are you waiting for? Go and take that first test. Comment below your score and story if you want more guidance. Until next time, then, take care. Let's do it right.